Welcome back to the Service Road. Now, after a number of high-profile incidents on flights, airlines and passenger rights have been put back into the spotlight. For more on that, we have with us Congressman Gus Tambunting, who authored House Bill 3667, or the Air Passenger Bill, or Bill of Rights Act. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me here, James.
Oh, I'm one of your constituents. It's nice to finally meet you.
The honor's mine.
Yeah, so I'm a boy from the South as well, but today we're going to have to be talking about air travel and not sort of local topics. We'll talk about that off air. It's summertime, and this is when most people travel, and we hear sometimes a lot of complaints about either. Usually it's overbooking, it's delayed flights, etc. Can you walk us through your Bill of Rights for passengers?
Okay. Basically, House Bill 3667 wants to address the protection of the rights of those that purchase or that ride the planes. What are we trying to solve here? One, full disclosure before a ticket is purchased. Two, once it's purchased, to make sure that the value of service promised is given. And third, right to be compensated in case a problem comes in later on. The bill basically has 8 chapters and around 55 sections, it's heavily dependent on a administrative order in 2012 between DTI
this is joint administrative.
the DOTC, and we picked up a lot of things from there. The only thing basically different is the issue of overbooking. In my bill, overbooking is illegal. In the order, it is allowed. And I'm saying, as defined in my bill, if I may read, the overbooking is defined by the selling or reserving of seats more than the capacity of the aircraft.
Okay.
So definitely you cannot overbook, and that will definitely save a lot of problems in the future.
There's, especially since the United incident.
Correct.
Now everyone's become an expert.
Infamous.
Everyone's become an expert on overbooking now, and there are some arguments that make sense to me about a certain amount of overbooking, because there's some, I don't know, fall-off rate, maybe mortality rate's the wrong word to use on an airplane, but basically, yes, not everyone's going to show up. So in order to keep the prices somewhat reasonable, we can overbook, but only by a certain percentage. Would you be flexible with that, or is it already law, or it's still a bill?
No, it's a proposed bill.
A proposed bill. So
and that's, like I said, is the difference between the my initiative order and my bill.
Okay.
And definitely, I would prefer that overbooking be declared illegal.
Okay. Not even a little bit of free play
there. Because at the end of the day, we have chance passengers that will come in, or there would be other canceled flights that would also need that space later on. So I think, though I know it's a practice, but it causes so much problems. And like United Airlines,
we're watching the video now.
The auction system didn't work because that's provided for. In case you want the passenger to step down, you give them a deal that they can't refuse.
Everyone's got their price.
But look what happened. And the conflict between immigration authorities, airport authorities, and passenger would always happen every time that there is overbooking.
Okay, and how is this being received at the moment by the...
Well, right now, it's on discussion in the committee level. And, of course, there are 6 other bills that have been filed by several of my colleagues. And this is now going to be consolidated after discussion and hearings with the different parties concerned.
Okay, so I think we were just looking at some of that United footage over there. It's pretty bad. They used actually technology to solve that problem. It's their new drag and drop feature that they that they did there. But in the Philippines, a lot, overbooking is an issue.
Yes.
What are the other big issues that you've encountered from when you were doing this bill? What are the other complaints from passengers?
Delayed flights. That's always a problem.
Is that an airline
And
issue or a NAIA issue or?
both. There are some that's the problem is the carrier. There are times it's a terminal or the yes. So that's it's really hard to say who's at fault. That's why in the bill we have penalties or compensation if it's caused by the airline, and compensation if it's caused by the airport or the
Are there any
or the
provisions for the passenger to not get caught up in that? Meaning, like, at the end of the day, I bought a ticket from you, and then I don't really care what happened behind the scenes. I need to I talked to you, I bought my ticket from you, can I just get my refund from you? Or do you have to sort of go, okay, no, it's NAIA's fault?
No. At the end of the day, they have to really reimburse regardless.
Okay, and then they deal with that internally. Get
Yes.
recompensated
Yes,
by NAIA.
correct,
Okay,
correct.
but the passenger at the end is not inconvenienced
Yes.
and dragged into that.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. What about like lost luggage and stuff?
Well, there's also compensation for that, and the value, and I understand that they have. Well, it's here. They have different. It talks about delayed and lost baggage. You're talking about 2,000 pesos compensation for every 24 hours. So there are different rates depending on the value of your luggage. And if it's delayed, you have to be paid. Like I said, 2,000 pesos. If you're delayed 24 hours, your bag is not yet in your possession, then they're supposed to give you something.
Okay, and so everything is, you said the main difference here right now is the overbooking.
Yes.
But so you haven't changed anything in terms of like, I think it's a 6-hour rule now. If the
Yes.
flight is more than 6 hours, you can demand for your money back already.
Yes.
That's still the same in your
No, in my bid is 3 hours.
3 hours.
4 hours, I'm sorry.
Okay, 4 hours
4
you have the
hours.
option
Yes.
to say, look, I just want my money back
Yes.
because I missed my event or whatever I had to
Yes.
go there for.
Yes.
All right. And what about with the piso fare things, and sometimes you're buying these fares at ridiculous prices.
In the one of the features of the bill basically is it talks about the right to full and truthful information of conditions, and there's a provision there, and false advertising is included.
Okay.
You cannot mislead your customers.
Okay, so if they
None of those fine prints. I mean, I say that it only costs 50 pesos, but the truth is they end up paying more than that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you get there, and if your belt doesn't match your shoes, it's like, well,
Correct.
that was in the fine print, quite obviously. Well, now your Bill of Rights, is it strictly for air, all air passengers, or any?
Air.
Does it look to
Air.
only air? Are you
Yes.
looking at anything to cover land and sea, or mostly sea? Because
Right? It's too different. It's different.
it's two different industries, so you have to really study that.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think the chances of this bill being passed as it is in Congress?
Well, in the 16th Congress, it passed the third reading, but there was a problem in the Senate. So hopefully now, we're giving so much importance to the value and the time and hard-earned cash paid by passengers. I think this administration is more sensitive to that, and I think we have a bigger chance this time.
Okay, and what about on the ground level? We're talking about the air, mostly we're focused on the airlines. What about the ground level if you feel that you're mistreated check-in or within the security?
They're penalized.
I hate to bring this up because I know it's a previous thing, but
Yes.
let's say, God forbid, a Tanimbala thing happens again. Something like that, does that fall
they're-
under your
yes,
bill?
they're penalized.
They're penalized as well.
Yes.
And where is the first place that they should go if they feel that they have a case or they feel that they want to claim? And
You go to the airport, to the airline, and you go to the civil to cab.
they normally have a desk there, right?
Yes.
At the airport.
Yes.
And Failing that, then you can go through to. Will this be managed under DTI as well?
Yes.
Your bill will
Yes.
still fall under the
Yes.
DTI. Okay. All right. Well, I hope it's good news for passengers. Thank you very much. I wish we could fast track this for the summer,
Well.
because there's a lot of passengers out there